Welcome to the Modern Day Overthinker podcast. My name is Collin and I am your host. Today's episode is just going to be me and you and whoever else is listening with you if you aren't by yourself. So, I really wanted to challenge myself and do a podcast episode by myself. I have a lot of things to say, and I feel like sometimes I don't get a lot of people's attention, and this is the best way for me. Sounds weird to say, but for me to get attention, but also spread awareness on things and share my thoughts. And I have a platform, so I might as well use it. So if you're listening, I appreciate you, and I hope you continue to listen. I will have a guest on the next episode if you don't like the sound of my voice. But yeah, let's get right into it. I wanted to talk about just what's going on with me right now. Wrapping up some things at work. Busy season at work is starting to slowly come to an end, and that is very good for me mentally. It was a challenge, which I like a challenge, and I can't really say that I dislike my job in any way, shape, or form. I really like my job and the people that I work with, so if any of them are listening, I hope they know that, and I hope they know that I appreciate them as coworkers, and I'm very lucky. Also very lucky to work from home. It was something that I've wanted to do for some time, even before COVID, because I was commuting and traveling a lot to work, spending a lot of time in the car. That's kind of what sparked the podcast idea, or kept the podcast idea in my head, because I listened to a lot of podcasts while I was driving, a lot of radio, a lot of NPR, just dry news. That's another thing I wanted to bring up. I'll bring it up later in the podcast, is the news and media and how we receive our news today and how much different it is in comparison to just a few years ago. And how divided and how crazy things have gotten as far as we're not getting news, we're getting opinions, but I'll get into that a little bit as well. But yeah, like I said, work is wrapping up as far as busy season, so that is good. I'll have a little bit more time to spend on my projects, working on some music, going to the gym. I've been consistently going to the gym since the end of July, averaging about 2.5 times a week. My goal is 3. I haven't hit 3 every time, obviously, but I've been remaining consistent, because I know if I stop or, fall off even for a week, I'm going to stop going altogether or ruin my routine. I don't want to ruin that routine, because I've had a few people compliment me recently on my appearance and that I look better, and that's always great to hear. And I wasn't getting really fat, but I was getting chubby and not really eating right as well. I'm trying to eat a little bit better. That's really still tough and difficult for me. My biggest thing right now is portion control that I'm trying to work on. And I really only eat 2 meals a day instead of 3, and kind of snack in between. That seems to be helping as well. I got deep into OCD therapy recently. Well, in August. So not really recently, but not a lot of people know that. And OCD therapy is basically exposure response prevention therapy. So basically it's the gold standard, as they say, for people with obsessive compulsive disorder. And I've been working with a therapist online virtually since August, and it's a platform called NoCD, which I've actually done a couple Q&As with them, and I've really enjoyed doing that, and I hope they have me back because I like answering questions about my experience with OCD and sharing that with other people. I am still in recovery, still going to my meetings. I won't mention which ones or, specific types of meetings, just out of anonymity. I am sponsoring people, which is cool. Just this year, I've acquired 3 different sponsees that I'm currently helping in their recovery, and I think I'm doing a decent job. They all seem to stay in contact with me. I can only do so much. I've learned that because I had my first sponsee that I had didn't end up staying around, and I haven't really heard from him since, and that's unfortunate. But one thing I've learned in recovery is accepting the things that you can't change, and you can't. That's the biggest thing with recovery is you gotta want it, and you can't be doing it for somebody else. You can't give somebody else your recovery. They have to want it. You can give it to them if they want it, but if they don't want it, then really nothing you can do. And it's tough. It's tough to watch people out there killing themselves. Is basically what it boils down to. Recording some music. I went to the studio for the first time in over 10 years. I usually record my music by myself. Kind of a comfort zone type of thing. I can feel more vulnerable when I'm by myself, things like that. However, I can only get such good quality recording myself, and luckily I found a engineer that I like and I trust, and I'm comfortable around, and that helps a lot because the music that I make rap music, but it's not your typical boom bap or boom bap or whatever you want to call it type of rap music or any trap type of stuff. I stick with music with a message, and sharing my story. My new single that I'm going to be dropping soon is very much about my struggle with addiction and getting out of that, and encouraging others to do the same, or at least keep going and keep fighting and keep recovering from whatever it is you're recovering from, because mental illness, there's a lot of recovery that's involved with that as well. I'm in OCD recovery as well, and I'll probably be in OCD recovery my whole life because it's something that I have to live with, but it's something that I want to be able to live with and be able to live a normal, quote-unquote, normal life. I know my life is never going to be normal, which is fine. I don't want it to be your normal cookie-cutter type of life. I've learned to be able to accept that I am different, but also at the same time accept that I'm no better than anyone else as well. Sometimes I often think about it in worse ways, like I'm worse off or worse than other people, not worse off, because I'm definitely not worse off than others, but worse than other people. And because I can be very negative towards myself. I am my own worst enemy, as many people who are probably listening can understand. If they are an overthinker, if they suffer from mental illness or addiction or both, usually goes hand in hand from what I've seen. So a couple things I wanted to talk about and just bring to light that doesn't get discussed enough, or just something I want to talk about is I recently have had to have a very tough conversation with someone that I was avoiding, and I've had a lot of these instances in the past where I avoided someone or avoided bringing up a certain subject to someone because I know it would be uncomfortable, but also deep down, I know that having that conversation is going to help me grow and help me become a better person or move on or whatever it's about. So I recently had one of those tough conversations, and since then I've felt so much better about my life and about my future and about what I want to do, and also not obsessing over that particular person because I was avoiding them, and because I didn't want to have that conversation with them. I didn't want to have any conversation with them because I didn't want to bring up feelings that I didn't want to have. So facing fear head on has been a big part of my life these last few years. I've tried to do things that I know are good for me, but that I am also terrified of. So that's been a journey, and I am happy to share that with anyone who wants to hear about it. And another thing that I've gotten into that is very nerve-wracking is stand-up comedy. I've done a few open mics. I'm not very good. I had one good open mic that I thought went really well. Some of my friends there, maybe they just told me it went really well, but it felt like it went really well, and that was good. And it's always good to see progress. And I'm obsessed with progress right now and just trying to be the best person I can be. And I know there's always something I can work on and always something I can get better at. And I think my biggest issue right now is prioritizing those things because there's so many things on that list that I want to get better at and I want to improve on. So I am a work in progress, and I always will be, and I understand that, but I am so much better than I was just a few years ago. It's not even funny. It's ridiculous how much that I've grown and how much I have changed for the better. For those of you who haven't talked to me or haven't seen me in a few years, and we are friends, I always consider anyone that has been my friend or I've been associated with in the past. I don't really burn bridges or close them out of my life unless they are a toxic person, of course, but don't feel like you can't reach out to me even if we haven't talked in forever, because there's certain people that I can see and we can just pick up at like where we left off, and that's really awesome. And I respect those relationships a lot because as you get older, I mean, it's tougher to have friendships and keep friendships and be able to maintain consistent contact with everybody that you want to. It's like almost impossible even with social media. So I appreciate all those people that are still out there that still care about me, and I want you to know that I care about you too, and I really mean that. That's something that I've realized doing an inventory of myself is that I do care a lot. Sometimes I care too much about either what other people think, but I do care about what's going on in other people's lives, and I love to see people thrive. I love to see people that are having families and getting married. And for a little while, I was almost resentful towards those people because that's what I want. But it's got to come at my time and at my pace. And when it happens, it happens. I'm not trying to force anything today. I'm just going with the flow. And yeah, so those tough conversations, if you have a tough conversation that you've been avoiding, I would try to have that as soon as possible because it's going to be a weight lifted off your shoulders, and it's going to allow you to move on and to continue on and do what you need to do to be a better person. Another thing I wanted to talk about, which I did a TikTok post about, I posted it on a couple other social media platforms as well, but I've been trying to do more TikToks as well for Modern Day Overthinker, just to spread my thoughts into the universe. I have a lot of them. They're not always right, but I try to share my wisdom and my insight into what I have learned along the way of this life of 31 years that I've lived on this planet, and hoping it helps someone, and hoping that I can help other people grow like I've grown. And one thing that I've struggled with, though, and I've always kind of struggled with this just because I'm very hard on myself, a very bad critic of myself, harsh critic of myself, I should say, and that's compliments. I'm not good at taking compliments. I usually think people are just being nice and saying something just to make me feel better. I feel that way with my music a lot. Like, I share my music with people that I'm close to before I release it usually, or I don't even release it at all or whatever, and try to get their opinion. And it's like I don't know if they're telling me that it's good because they think they have to, or what. I have certain people that'll tell me, hey, that doesn't sound right, that you should fix that. And I really appreciate those people because I don't know what I don't know, is basically what it boils down to. And I have a few friends out there that are that will tell me what I don't want to hear, but what I need to hear, and that's very important. But as far as compliments, I'm still struggling with that. And also even giving compliments. I mean, I don't want people to think that I am just giving them a compliment because I expect one in return, or that I am doing it to try to sleep with you or try to get something out of you. I'm trying to be more genuine and authentic today. Authenticity is very important to me, and sometimes I don't know if other people are being authentic like I try to be, and I struggle with that, and I overanalyze. I psychoanalyze things, is what my psychiatrist has said. Well, that's what she told my therapist. They had a conversation about me, just to get familiar with what goes on inside my head, or as far as they understand anyway. And yeah, compliments are tough in general, overall, for me. And yeah, if you listen to this and you have any insight or struggle with this, let me know. The email to get a hold of me is mdoverthinker@gmail.com. There's also a link on the website to get to the email directly. You just click on it and it'll pop up with your email application that you use on your computer or your phone. You can also reach out to me on social media, whatever. Or if you have something you want me to talk about, or if you have someone that you want me to talk to or want me to have on the podcast that has a good story, has a good message, that has suffered from mental illness, or is an expert, or is someone that just is doing really well in life and is a really good person that can share some insight and help others try to become a better person as well, or better people, I should say. Because that's what I really want to do with this podcast, is spread positivity, motivate people, and also spread awareness on topics and subjects that aren't normally discussed. Mental health being the biggest one, just because mental health we cannot discuss enough, and I want to continue to do what I can to spread a good message and good vibes out into the energy, as some say, out into the world. I'm not really going to edit this that much, so you're getting what you're getting on this one, guys. So, But yeah, another thing I wanted to talk about is, being single right now. I am I've used a couple different online dating apps, and honestly, I haven't had the greatest experience with them. It's not even like the messaging or anything like that. I usually don't even get to that point. I don't know if it's just I have just horrible profile pictures or what the deal is. I try to be as I don't know, presentable as possible. Maybe I'm just better looking in person, or maybe I'm not good looking at all. I don't know. Maybe everyone's been lying to me. That's another thing that goes on up inside my head, is everybody just telling me all this stuff to make me feel better? It's crazy. But yeah, Swipe Society, as Theo mentioned on his podcast, and he's kind of inspired me to do this podcast on my own. Theo Vaughn has a podcast. It's called This Past Weekend. He's a comedian. He's a very goofy guy. I love listening to him. Very quick on his feet. And yeah, I hope as I continue to grow and develop and get stronger and less fearful and less anxious all the time, I can be a little bit more witty and funny and comedic on this podcast as well, just to bring it's just refreshing, I don't want to have this be a boring podcast by any means. I want it to be insightful. I want it to be fun. I want it to be everything good, There's just not enough good in the world. There can never be enough good in the world. There's a lot of bad out there, and that bad gets highlighted so much. And that is what brings me to the news. And the way we get our news, or some people get their news, is through the mainstream media, such as CNN, Fox News, MSNBC. Those are the big three that seem to get the most views, and it's typically older people older than me, my parents, for example, their generation. But it seems like you get CNN, which is like completely left, Fox News completely right, MSNBC, I would say more left, from what I've gathered. I don't really watch any of them anymore, but this is just what I've gathered from talking to other people and the clips that I've seen. Because I watched a lot of clips online of CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News, and it's just like all opinionated news. It's nothing like, they don't just give you the news and give you what's going on. And also, like, another thing is like what they're focusing on is also kind of scary as well. Like, we have the Maxwell case, the Ghislaine Maxwell trial is going on right now. I've seen a little bit about it, but not a whole lot. The people I see sharing it are the people that I follow that are considered conspiracy theory nuts. They're the only people that are sharing this stuff, just because they're not afraid to share anything. And this is a big deal. There's going to be probably a lot of people that are going to be outed as long as she stays alive. And it's one of those things where it's just like and I understand why the judge decided not to have the trial aired because of the content to an extent. However, there's online platforms that they could air this on that, would be less susceptible to children watching them. So us adults can follow this trial, because this trial is very important. and but I think people are scared. I think there's people that are higher up that are scared. I saw something about a few different big executives resigning on Monday. One of them being the Twitter CEO. That's the one I know for sure. So that's the only one I'm going to talk about. Jack Dorsey stepping down as the CEO of Twitter, and there was a couple others, and the conspiracy people all threw up red flags about that. And my biggest thing right now is with the news when it comes to what's happening and what's going on is I never know who to believe. So I'm just like in the middle, like I'm going to just form my own opinion and figure it out from there, because like for example, the Rittenhouse thing, I mean, it's just like you either had to be completely, the news was making it out like you had to be completely like, this guy is the worst evil murderer person. He's a murderer and he went there to murder people. Or you're on the other side like he's a hero and he was attacked. There's no in between. It's like everything's so black and white, and I mean that in multiple ways, actually. Race is getting highlighted on everything. It's just, we keep getting more and more divided, and or they try to divide us, I should say. The media does, and that's what I see anyway. But if you talk to normal people and regular people, I saw a meme the other day and I shared it because it's like, if you talk to everyday people, we don't give a shit. Most of us, whether you're black, white, whatever, as long as you're a good person, then I'm cool with you. That's how I feel. And that's how a lot of people feel. And, there's obviously some bad people out there, and but they come in all shapes, sizes, and colors, creeds, nationalities, religious backgrounds. It doesn't matter. They're everywhere. The bad people are in all walks of life, and so are the good ones. It's just, if we can just remember things like that, we'd be so much better off, and continue to remind ourselves and continue to get that message out that we are all so similar to each other. And obviously we have our differences, but we need to accept that. We need to be respectful of other people and their opinions. And yeah, you don't have to be friends with everybody either. But I think we should be a little bit more respectful of each other, especially online. Like, people are just so, because you're online and you're safe and you think you can say whatever you want, and then you're in person and you're not like that at all. It's just like, I try to be the same person. I'm trying to be the same person I am online as I am in person. I'm a little more nervous in person, so it's harder for me to say things like I'm saying now, or what I tweet or what I talk about online. But it's nothing that I'm not afraid to say to somebody in person. I didn't always used to be like that, but I've gotten a lot more confident and a lot more self-aware of who I really am, and what I really believe in. But yeah, this whole situation with this opinionated news is just ridiculous. It's just like, is there anybody that just, I know NPR kind of does it. NPR's even got kind of opinionated as well, or things they won't talk about, or certain things. It's just like, why can't I just get the news and just like, hey, this came up today. This is something that's on the radar or in the headlines or whatever, and this is a summary of what happened, and you form your own opinion. I don't know what's so wrong about that, but it's all about clicks and views and money and money and money and money, and it's unfortunate. The integrity behind journalism is almost gone. There's still good journalists out there. They're mostly becoming podcasters, actually, it seems like, or YouTube personalities or whatever. Yeah, so that's my little rant on that. Another thing I'm trying to get more creative about is trying to, I think I'm ready. I've kind of been fooling around on the dating apps, but I haven't been like that serious about it. Like, because I was still a little hung up on my last relationship. Had a lot of questions about that and how it ended, but I'm moving on and accepting things, and I really think I'm ready to start dating again and for real. And I don't know really where to meet other women. I want to meet women in person. I don't want to do this swipe stuff. I don't want to do the online stuff because I feel like I can present myself better in person than I can online. That sounds weird, but it's true. I probably could doctor up some things and make myself look like a totally different person online, but I don't want to do that at all. So I'm trying to think of creative ways to meet women, and also not the wrong places either. I've heard mixed reviews about the gym and meeting women at the gym. Maybe I need to join some type of CrossFit gym or cult, as some call it, where you interact with other people. Maybe try doing yoga again. I did hot yoga one time. I thought I was going to die. So maybe I'll do just regular yoga. I don't know. So I'm trying to come up with more creative ideas for that. So if you have any, please reach out to me. I would love to hear your ideas, especially from a female perspective. But guys, if you've had some success with certain scenarios or certain places, let me know. I'd love to hear about them. And I'm kind of getting used to being alone, though, at the same time. That's another thing I wanted to talk about. I enjoy my alone time. I enjoy my peace. Sometimes being alone is not a good place for me, and I'm starting to recognize when those times are and trying to, call people or go hang out with them, whatever I need to do to get out of my head. But there's a lot of times where it's just like, man, I'm so glad I don't have anything going on tonight and I can just hang out and chill with my cat and watch some series on Netflix or watch some series on, now it's Showtime. I subscribe to Showtime because Dexter's back and I love Dexter, and it ended so terribly. I hope they redeem it. It's been pretty good so far. Dexter New Blood. I think that's what it's called, New Blood. I really enjoy it, and I like where they're going with it, and hopefully it ends well. So yeah, if you get a chance to check that out, if you were a Dexter fan that was disappointed like I was with the ending, yeah. I'm trying to think of anything else I wanted to touch on today. Really, I just want to say that if you're not doing well, if you're in a funk, if you're not doing okay, reach out to somebody that you know cares. I know you might convince yourself that nobody cares, but that is a false narrative that you've put inside your head. And there is somebody out there that gives a shit. And I give a shit. Reach out to me if you have to. If you want to. I don't even if you don't have to. I'll take the time to listen to your rant, or if you want a unbiased opinion on something and not sugarcoat it, I'll tell you how I really feel about something, or what I or whatever, just whatever you want to talk about. If you need somebody to talk to, leaving the door open. So yeah, and also just so everyone knows, I am always welcoming new guests and open to guest opportunities. If you have any ideas or yourself, please let me know. However you want to contact me, whether that's through social media or through email. The website's moderndayoverthinker.com. And I appreciate everybody for tuning in today into this solo adventure where I got to rant and share my thoughts on things for a little while. And I hope you tune into the next episode. I'm not sure who my guest will be. I have a couple people lined up. So look out for that and look out for announcements on social media. And yeah, until then, take care of yourself, be good to yourself, and I hope you have a good holiday. If I don't get an episode out before the holiday, I hope to have an episode out before then. But if I don't, have a happy holiday, happy New Year, and yeah, stay tuned. More content, more podcasts coming soon.